Hello again from my front porch. I'm taking a little brief break from my self-imposed exile because I wanted to just chat and bring you folks up to date on what's happening, and just spend a little time out here on the front porch. Need a little sunshine anyway. Sitting in at my computer is not it's not giving me enough vitamin C or D or whatever it is that comes to clearly I need a lot more of it. So you may be saying, Exile, what self-imposed exile are you talking about, Paul? Well, I'm glad you asked. My book for ATD, the first half of it is due here at the end of the month, which is in just a few days. And I don't believe that it's ready to be submitted yet. And so this weekend, almost every night for the last 2-3 weeks, I've been spending working on this thing. Now granted, maybe I did procrastinate a little bit because it's turned out that there was more writing effort that needed done than I was actually, I think, really fully anticipating, because I had been doing bits and pieces, fleshing out the outlines and adding things and stuff. But then when I actually got to reading it and seriously looking at it as to, is it ready to be submitted? The perfectionist in me said no, and it kept saying no. And so I've done that. The other factor that's come into play, though, is I've been getting in more of these interviews of the individuals that I want to also include their stories in the book, of other entities, other companies that are doing structured on the job training, individuals who've had experience working with those doing structured on the job training. And I've been trying to take their stories and mesh what they say in with the concepts that I'm trying to express. And in some cases, it works very, very easy. In other cases, it creates a little bit of a challenge, especially as I start now talking to multiple people who talk about variations of a very similar concept. Now I have to go back and retool what I was saying to accommodate more of a montage of examples, which in the end result is really great. The person reading it is going to get a chance to see this concept in multiple ways, and that's absolutely what we want to have happen. But it's interesting how that creates its own challenges for the writer, and so it's tough. And then the biggest obstacle is when you work all day and then you spend some time in the evening work on it, you keep having to stop and then the next night go, okay, now where was I? Get back in the zone there. So I declared that this weekend was going to be devoted to my exile, my self-imposed exile, to finish the pieces of the book so that it's ready to be turned in this coming week. And so that's the goal. I am, well, not the goal, that is the expectation in order to be able to do that. And so, and then the reason, again, that they have me on this aggressive path is because they want the book to be published and ready for next May when we get to their international conference in San Diego. And I want that too. So that's why the self-imposed exile, get the book done. See, I'm not even shaving today. Can you tell? Yeah, not even worrying about it. Probably won't shave tomorrow either. So if anybody runs into me, I don't know how you'd run into me. You have to come to my house to run into me. But if anybody runs into me, you see I'm going to be scruffy this weekend too, because it's not about making the face look good. It's about getting the book done. So or at least the first half of it done. So anyway, that's what's going on now. Because I'm going to potentially be out of circulation all the weekend, and who knows, maybe in the first part of next week if I don't quite get everything done this weekend that I want. But I did want to fill you all in on some other things that are coming up, just so you know. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to address with you is coming up on Tuesday, I'm actually taking part in a panel discussion being hosted by the local ATD chapter. And again, for those that may not know, ATD stands for the Association for Talent Development. It's a trade association for people like myself who do training and development, talent development things mostly in the corporate world, but also in the government sector. It can be in the education sector, though generally it's more higher education. The individuals get involved, but so that kind of audience, that kind of group of individuals, people who are practitioners of training and people who are leaders over training programs in those kind of settings. So anyway, the local Central Iowa ATD chapter is having a panel discussion coming up on Tuesday that they call the Tip of the Iceberg. Now, ICE being an acronym for International Conference and Expo. That's what the national, or technically international, ATD organization calls that big event that happens in May that my book is going to be at. Now, I've spoke at the last two international conferences on structure on the job training, and so I've been included as part of the panel. What they're doing is they're having local individuals from here in Des Moines, Iowa, that went to the most recent ICE event and having us share some of our snippets, because there's only so much time and there's however many people, but having us share little snippets of things that we thought were great takeaways from the conference. Now, this last conference, I did two sessions, one on structure on the job training and one on capturing institutional knowledge, or creative ways of capturing institutional knowledge. And so when they asked me what were a couple of topics that I thought were good key takeaways from the conference that I'd like to talk about, well, what do you think I told them? I said I think the two key takeaways are structure on the job training and creatively capturing institutional knowledge. I know it's a little self-serving. But I know that stuff down. So basically, at the event coming up, the event, I'll talk about other things that I heard in other sessions I attended as well. But the main things I'm going to be talking about are little encapsulated summaries of what my sessions were at the conference. So, and I don't think that's really all that bad. I mean, yeah, it sounds a little self-serving because I'm talking about my own stuff, but for everybody else, for the people in the room attending, none of them got to go to the conference, so none of them even got to hear the presentations that I did. And here I am, a local person presenting at the international conference, and these local people, it's their chance to get a taste at least of what was shared. So I don't feel completely bad about it. A little self-conscious maybe, but not completely. Anyway, that's going on. I made myself some notes here. That's going on Tuesday, August 28th from 4 to 6 p.m. Now, it's taking place at a place called the Beer House in Urbandale, Iowa. But don't worry, it's not taking place in a bar. They have a really nice meeting room area at the back part of the facility, and that's where this ATD chapter event is taking place. And I believe the ATD chapter is also buying appetizers too. Now, if you want, and they'll probably have soft drinks. If attendees want beverages beyond that, that will be up to the attendees to take care of. But the chapter, I believe, is providing refreshments, finger foods, snack, appetizer items, soft drinks, that kind of stuff. So, anyway, so show up there if you want to during that time frame. Now, also, I've been getting a lot relative term, but I've had several messages of people saying, so when's Abby Normal playing again? I haven't seen Abby Normal on, that they've been doing something for a little while. And said, okay, yeah. Well, so Abby Normal actually was originally scheduled to be playing as part of this big event that was planned coming up called Iowa Stock, Labor Day weekend. However, relatively recently, the plug got pulled on that event. I'm not exactly sure why. There was some explanation related to health issues of the organizer, which that's valid, and certainly thoughts and prayers go out to him for the health issues that he's been diagnosed with or is having to battle at this point. The other thing I think, though, personally, I think it was maybe a bit too aggressive, because as far as I know, now I haven't been involved with it, but from when I first became aware of it happening, of seeing him going around and trying to recruit bands to be part of the event, it's only started within this calendar year. So I think for the size of event that was being put together, I think it was a bit aggressive to try to plan it in literally just a few months' time. That's really something that you got to start planning a year out or so. So my gut tells me maybe there were some logistical issues that also started to trip some things up. So hopefully we'll hear more about that next year, and he'll be able to use this time. He and others are working with him will be able to use this time to map that out and get that solid, and that can happen. But since Abby Normal isn't doing that, they do have a private event they're doing Labor Day weekend, but of course it's a private event, so it's not open to the public. So really the next chance you have to see Abby Normal playing is at Puffer Billy Days in Boone, Iowa on Friday the 8th. So that's in fact, see, they're playing, here, back to my notes, they're playing 7:30 to 11:30 at Puffer Billy Days. So make sure you get up to Puffer Billy Days in Boone, Iowa to see them. And yes, I will be there selling merchandise, mostly t-shirts and tank tops. And by the way, the t-shirts and tank tops are getting to be a limited supply. It's larger sizes. The smaller sizes are all going away. But that's not a problem, because I've seen some people buy actually the larger sizes and do some really creative things with them, with how they kind of cut some things and tie some things and do some. They make some really fun and funky looking shirt apparel things you wear. So consider that when you're thinking as well. But so Friday, the 8th of September, Puffer Billy Days. That's where Abby Normal will be playing, and I'll be there again as well, selling my merchandise stuff. There's another band that I also like to support called Hot Tamale and the Red Hots, with Cindy Grill Kirkpatrick as their lead singer, and I think one of the most dynamic lead singers of any band in this area, what's hands down. And they have some late breaking news. Seriously, I just got an email yesterday from Cindy. Well, she sent it out not just to me, but to her friends. But I got an email from Cindy. But Cindy sent an email letting everyone know that there is now an event, an appearance that Hot Tamale and the Red Hots are going to be doing coming up this Monday night, August 28th. They're going to be filling in for Scott Sutherland and the band at the Greenwood Lounge on Ingersoll Avenue. And so if you want to know more about that, look up, you can just look up where, actually, I think I got the address here, 3707 Ingersoll Avenue. They'll be playing from about 8:30-ish to 11-ish. But this is the first time that Hot Tamale and the Red Hots has performed at the Greenwood Lounge. Now, Cindy herself, she has appeared there as a guest with another band, just doing some fun, funky solo, sort of throwback big band kind of, Etta James kind of, stuff. It was really, really awesome, the kind of songs that she did. But this is the whole Hot Tamale and the Red Hots band. They will be at the Greenwood Lounge Monday night, the 28th, 8:30, so make sure you make it out. There's not a lot of room in that place, so if you want to make it there, you want to get there early and stake out your seat fairly quickly on. But it's a fun venue for those that like to go to, a nice hole in the wall kind of place to hear awesome music done, and that's what the Greenwood specializes in. Now, Hot Tamale and the Red Hots also has another appearance farther down the road. Let's see, what was it? September 9th, Saturdays at Co. So Abby Normal, September 8th, up at Puffer Billy Days. September 9th, that Saturday, is when Hot Tamale and the Red Hots are playing a special gig with the, that's with the Central Iowa Blues Society is sponsoring a barbecue event. Their second annual Blues and Barbecue Park Fair is what they're calling it. And that'll be located at 100 East Euclid Avenue. So you can go check that out. But Hot Tamale and the Red Hots will be playing that. And that makes a lot of sense because they're an awesome blues band. Makes sense that they would be spotlighted at a Central Iowa Blues Society event. So that's a great chance to hear good blues and also, I'm guessing, be part of a fundraiser, help contribute to the efforts of the Central Iowa Blues Society. That they're playing from 3 to 6 p.m. So a little earlier in the day. If you want to catch your music early and then do something else that evening, totally fine. But I'm sure there's an other slate of other bands playing at this event too, so you want to check that out. Now, in the case of both Abby Normal or Hot Tamale and the Red Hots, you don't have to message me and ask me what's going on. I'm happy to help and pass things on. But both of them have Facebook pages. Abby Normal has a Facebook page, Hot Tamale and the Red Hots have a Facebook page, and they will post out there their events for the upcoming things. In fact, Abby Normal is now finishing what they would call their summer outdoor series, where a lot of the venues they've been playing are outdoor events because it's summertime. And fairly soon they're going to be releasing their fall schedule, which would be back to their indoor schedule, where they play at different venues, different bar venues, different concert venues that are indoor venues and places here in the Des Moines area or Central Iowa. And so, but be watching their Facebook page to see those. Now, Abby Normal also has a website called AbbyNormalRockBand.com that is also kept up to date with the events that they're doing, and you can see what the band is doing and see pictures and things there as well. So either of those are ways to catch up with Abby Normal, and of course, Hot Tamale and the Red Hots also has a Facebook page that you can track their stuff and see that too. So then the only other thing that I wanted to tell you about was, I was telling you about the upcoming ATD conference out in San Diego next May, where is the target for me to have my book in the bookstore there. Yeah, that means I'm probably going to have to do one of those. They have these things called author chats or author times or something, where authors of books that are new in the bookstore have like half an hour that they sit at a table in the bookstore and they sign books. Now, I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking, that just that seems really weird. The idea of me sitting at a table and somebody actually buying a book that I wrote and walking up to me and asking me to sign that book. That's just like, that is such a weird concept. But it likely is going to happen. Now, how many people buy the book and walk up to the table, that's a whole different matter. But just the concept of even being there, being asked to do something like that, or you know, getting that kind of opportunity, that's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But so for me, the event next May is going to be a big deal anyway, no matter what, because of the book. Hopefully I'm going to be speaking again as well. I won't know that yet for a little while. I submitted 2 sessions again this year, not the exact same 2, but we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. But in addition to my book being there, it's going to be a big year for ATD as an international organization because it's their 75th anniversary. That means a big party in San Diego. Yeah, it's a good place. So my book will be there. ATD will be turning 75 years old. It'll be in San Diego, which is an awesome place for it. And in other late breaking news, oh, sorry. It was also announced that now at these conferences they have 3 keynote speakers. So I'm not sure where he will be in terms of which of the keynote speakers that he is, but one of the keynote speakers for this next ATD 2018 International Conference and Expo is none other than former President of the United States, Barack Obama. Now, I think that's interesting because number one, it's likely going to boost attendance numbers a bit because I'm sure there'll be people who will just find it really interesting to go, who may have been on the fence. Should I go? Should I not go? And they'll see that he's a keynote speaker. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to go. I want to hear him. There will be people who do that. But also, you know, and again, these shows are not political, so I don't like to make political comments. That's not what I'm saying now. But with the world the way it is today, our nation, our politics, the way they are today, and assuming none of that has changed by the time we get to next May, having former President Obama speaking at this conference, I'm sure will create some interesting opportunities for a conversation. Well, my kind of interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, honestly, genuinely, no matter what you think of his politics, and I wasn't always a big fan of a lot of things that President Obama did. You know, I'd make no secret about that. However, if an individual of his stature stands on that stage and makes some incredibly strong endorsement comments of the role and the value of talent development, of workplace learning performance, of training, learning department program, if someone of that caliber makes some really clear, strong statements related to the value that my industry brings to the world, you better believe I'm going to quote those things. I mean, that's good stuff. That is important stuff to any industry, to have an individual at that level endorse the work that they do. And so I do look forward to seeing what he has to say in regards to that and how it could help us. So anyway, all right, I think I've babbled enough and I've taken enough of a break. Don't get me wrong. I am excited about this book. And the concept of what is, and the more I talk to people, interview them for the stuff to put in it, the more excited I become because I get to see all of these really interesting ways that structure on the job training works. But you know, then the perfectionist in me and the writer in me stresses over getting it all on the page the way I want it to look on the page, and so as enjoyable as it is on this hand, it's also stressful on that hand. So need to stop avoiding the stressful part. Need to embrace this part and just accept this part is, you know, that comes along with it, and just get it done. So I'm off to I just blanked on what the guy's name is. There's the blue collar tour guy, the cable guy, Larry the Cable Guy. That's him. So in the words of the great Larry the Cable Guy, it's time to go get her done. Okay, yeah, you can tell my brain's a little mushy already, can't you? Well, wish me luck on the final details of the book and my self-exile. I will talk to you again soon. I don't know exactly when, but maybe if I get everything done this weekend and you show up at Greenwood Lounge Monday night, maybe I'll be there. If I feel like I can spare the time from my book. So maybe I'll see you then. Otherwise, I will see you next time right here from my front porch.